In Module 3, Part 1, we're emphasizing the fiduciary responsibility plan sponsors have in selecting and monitoring their service providers. So come along and let's take a look.
Selecting and monitoring service providers is a fiduciary responsibility. This module describes the various service providers typically engaged by a plan to assist with plan administration. It also describes suggested best practices to ensure that such service providers are independent and objective professionals. Now, the plan fiduciary has specific responsibilities with respect to service providers. One is to prudently select and monitor all plan advisors, providers, auditors, and all other service providers. Any person or entity that provides services to the plan and receives at least $1,000 cumulatively in compensation or more is a covered service provider under ERISA. The plan fiduciary in the selection and monitoring process must have a documented process. This documented process of selection and monitoring must follow ERISA procedural prudence guidelines. They also must monitor service providers by conducting plan benchmarks every 3 to 5 years. So record keeper service providers should be subjected to a live bid benchmarking every 3 to 4 years. Other service providers, for example, attorney, accountant, investment advisor, should be monitored periodically, and they should be live bid when concerns arise as to the appropriateness of their fee or the appropriateness, quality, breadth of their services that are required by the plan. Plan fiduciaries also should ensure that all parties' fees are fair and reasonable. Providing evidence of reasonableness of fees and services represents a significant fiduciary liability exposure for plan fiduciaries and is the focus of much fiduciary breach litigation. Case law reflects the diversity of rulings on reasonableness of fiduciaries that exercise prudence and document all fee reasonableness determinations. ERISA does recognize that attaining the lowest fee is not always the goal, but fees and services should be within a competitive range based on quality and breadth of services provided. DOL guidance, the DOL published a recommended list of specific questions plan fiduciaries should ask and have answered by these covered service providers. These questions are provided and populated with our responses in the fiduciary fitness program as a documentation module on monitoring service providers. The DOL in its audit process requests information from plan fiduciary about these providers. The following information should be provided and available on each service provider: the name, organization, and their location, copies of all engagement agreements, and copies of any management letters and all parties' fee schedules.